So today's breakfast is going to be classic sort of toast sandwich. I'm going to switch up my fake meat options and go with this guy, which is the Scruffy Monkey. It's like a fake bacon. Like, I got it from the Bean Freak store near my house. Apparently it's supplied by this guy who works at like the restaurant on the road that's like Hare Krishna monks. So that's cool.
Waxy, 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 waxy. Pink. Pink, 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 pink. Think of a colour.
Red. I still haven't been able to buy new gloves, which is super annoying because it just keeps getting colder. But I have the one, right, that I was left over, you know, the non-missing one. And also I found this one, which is an old glove of Anwen's that looks quite stretchy. So I think that's me sorted, really. My glove situation has worked. I feel like I am the queen of innovation at this point. Like, throw any problem at me, friends. I will solve it. Okay, so first things on the agenda for today. Today is the first day of the Bias Breaker readathon, which I'm super excited about. It's 2 weeks, I think. It goes till the 20th, 4th to the 20th, I think. And it's run by Kat at Bibliobscura. Like, I'll put it down below if you're interested. It looks pretty cool. You get to like pick a team and there's a bunch of hosts. I have chosen Team Interstellar Spy, mainly because I liked their prompts best, but also because I'd be an amazing spy. So the first prompt that I'm going for is the prompt to do with a book that's set in a country you know nothing about. This one's set in Chile. I don't really know anything about Chile, but I find it very interesting and would like to learn. So it's called Space Invaders. It's by Nona Fernandez. And it was originally written in Spanish. Anyway, this one's quite small. Novella. Broken up quite intensely as well. You know, like the format of it. So I'm pretty excited. I like a novella, me. The idea of it so far is that it's a bunch of adults who went to school together, and they're sort of thinking back to when they were in school and remembering this girl that they used to know, this classmate, whose dad was like really high up in the government, like high up in the military or something like that. And when there was a violent regime change, she disappeared. And as far as I know, they never really find out what happens to her, but I don't know, I'm not that far yet. But at the minute, they're just sort of remembering her and sort of like putting in sort of various things about her that they remember specifically. And it's quite, I don't know, like the writing is quite beautiful. It's like quite poetic-ish. I'm really enjoying it. So there's that for today. Also on the agenda for today is to haul ass through my work day and try to get loads of shit done, because I have a half a day. I'm finishing at noon to go to the pub with my husband and some friends. Today is the start of like a new set of COVID-19 restrictions. So the First Minister has decided that for the next 2 weeks, or really indefinitely, like there's a review after 2 weeks, but these things never end at 2 weeks, do they? They just keep going. But from today to the indefinite future, all pubs in Wales, all pubs and restaurants must shut at 6 p.m. and they can't serve alcohol at all. Like not even at 9 a.m. Oh God. So that restriction starts at 6 p.m. today, so there's plenty of drinking time between now and then. So we've taken half days from work in order to get the most of it. Last booze up hurrah before Christmas, I reckon. So yeah, let's get started. So the knuckling down to get loads of work done before noon has actually been weirdly successful, and everything that was urgent on my list, I've sorted it out and still have loads of time left. So I'm going to reward myself with a bit of a browse of the 2021 Pop Sugar Reading Challenge list. I've had to go through all of the prompts, you know, give a think about which books on my TBR will fit with those prompts, you know, just to sort out my whole year's reading life really far in advance. For last year's Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, I had like a board, like a green board with like pegs where I like stuck the book cover things onto the pegs for each prompt so that I could like move them around to make sure I got loads of them in. But after I sorted that and used it for its purpose, which was to have movable parts, as soon as I'd read all the books for the challenge for that year, the big massive board was just taking up space in my house and was also irrelevant because they didn't need to move anymore. So I've transferred them to a more permanent location. Here are all the books that I read for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge last year. I've sorted every single prompt of the 50 prompts, except for the one which I refuse to do, just for my mental health. I know that when they came up with this list in December of 2019, that they would have no idea what the year 2020 would really be about. Loads of it is like Olympics themed. Does anybody remember that this was going to be an Olympics year? That we were like going to have Olympics? Then it ended up being about something completely different. And their prompt, medical thriller, you know, say a book maybe about a pandemic, suddenly became the worst prompt ever. And I refused to do it. Like, I kept trying to do it. Like, I have this guy here, Recursion, which is about like a memory thing, but still it's about some sort of thing that you catch and then like it like spreads to the population or whatever. So I thought, oh, that'll work. And it's not too medical thrillery. You know, it'll still sort of work, but I just can't bring myself to read it. I can't do it. So I've boycotted this prompt. Okay, so this is the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge from here. I can link this below if anyone's interested. So it's just 50 prompts. So there's like 40 prompts and then 10 advanced prompts. And they're all things like a book that's published in 2020, an Afrofuturist book, a book that has a heart, diamond, club, or spade on the cover, things sort of like that. And I'm working my way through, figuring out what we got here. So for one that's published in 2021, this damn last Outlander novel has supposed to have been coming out for like the last 3 years. If it doesn't come out in 2021, I'm gonna be so pissed. But I'll put it on there. This is officially the one that I'm reading for published in 2021, and it better come out. For my Afrofuturist book, I've been trying to read Kindred by Octavia Butler, I think, for years, and everything keeps going wrong. Like, I kept trying to get it from the library. Finally, my hold at the library was called up, and I was next in line. Like, the number next to it was number 1. I was next. And then I think it was being transferred from one library to another library or whatever, and then the pandemic shut the libraries down. And then they had to have, like, a whole new system, like a computer system. They had to, like, rehaul to a new one that only gives you a certain number of books, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if that book is like trapped in a van somewhere or trapped in like a back room somewhere, or if they're even going to recognize that I was next on the hold list anyway, or if it's just going to go back to 0. I'm so annoyed. Anyway, like, I refuse to buy the book when I'm next on the list for the library thing, but I've been on the list for the library thing for like 9 months. Anyway, fuck it. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to read it for my Afrofuturist prompt for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. That might be the first one I do, just to spite the whole thing. I really like this book. So this kid is talking about the house of the girl that's disappeared. We went over there one time and they played Space Invaders for like hours, and then they did their homework. And there was a picture of her brother on the wall, and he was like in uniform, and there were like medals on the portrait and stuff like that, and it sort of creeped him out. He was like, what happened to the brother? But he didn't want to ask. And then her dad came home, and he was like a military officer or something, and he sort of said hello to everyone, and then he sat down and took his hand off like it was like a wooden prosthesis, and the girl told him that he has like a shit ton of them, like he has just like a crap ton of wooden hands that he can just like exchange out for the day, whatever. And it really creeped the kid out, and so we never went over there ever again. And he says Riquelme never went back to Gonzalo's house. The thought of those orthopedic hands terrified him. The few times he and Gonzalo's were partners on an assignment, he would invite her to his apartment where hands didn't come off bodies and children didn't hang on the wall.
Yeah, they're back on before New Year, but it's projects and stuff like that, so it's not in here anymore.
Mom, we're not holding on, but... Dad, open. Hold.
Okay, Swed, what should we have for dinner? Should we order?
Pizza!
Should we order it?
Pizza!
Should we get it from Papa John's or Domino's?
Domino's.
Okay. Lol, I just ordered this pizza and everything for dinner and then realized it's only 4:30. Like, it's so dark outside. Like, we were not drinking in the pub that long. Like, only a couple of hours. How is it only 4:30? Okay, I have finished Space Invaders by Nona Fernandez. It was really good. It was good. I really, really liked it. Like, I didn't really, like, I still don't actually. I'm gonna have to go on like a bit of a Wikipedia rabbit hole about Chile. Like, I did know that there was like political violence and sort of like regime change, like stuff going on in the 80s. But I don't know if, you know, I don't really know like the background of it. I don't know the specifics. But there are parts in here that sort of say about it. Some of the people that are talking about remembering the girl, they were personally affected. Like, one of them, the parents were sort of kidnapped and never seen again. One of them, the mother was like kidnapped in the night and then released, but she had like crosses gouged into her nipples with razor blades when she got home. And then the author sort of says about they go to loads of funerals all the time throughout like this turbulent point in the 80s, and they can't remember whose funeral it is. Like, all the funerals blur together. Like, they can remember themselves being at funerals, but they can't remember if it was like the funeral for the kids who were gunned down, or if it was a funeral for so-and-so who was gunned down, or if it was a funeral for so-and-so who was kidnapped and then, you know, found in the street. But I really liked the ending, and I really liked the book itself, and it was really poetic and sort of, I don't know, I really liked it. Anyway, I finished with that one. I'm moving on to the next one. And that one is The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jan Wang. And this one is like another bit of a cheater one, to be honest, because it's a graphic novel. To be honest, I didn't sort of set out to make them like quick reads for the readathon. I just sort of tried to meet the prompts with books that I had on my list that I already wanted to read, and it sort of just worked out that way. But hopefully this one again will be a bit of a quick read, so maybe I can finish it by the end of tomorrow. I don't know. But this one meets the prompt for, there's like a gender fluid, non-binary, genderqueer prompt that this one meets, about a prince whose parents are looking for a bride for him, but he's not interested in that. He's only interested in being like a fashion icon, wearing like women's dresses around at parties, and his best friend is the dressmaker. So I'm pretty excited about that one.